like, it's okay if it's not as good as you want it to be, yada yada yada. That's just how I live life.
Hi, says the girl with the right eyes that pairs pretty well when she hits you with the soft smile.
Hi friends, it's Rory, and today I'm doing a end of month wrap up. Now, I haven't done one of these in quite a while. And the reason why is depression. For a while it got really hard to like film and edit videos, and you can tell if you like look back on when I uploaded videos, there would be like 3 weeks where I didn't upload videos, and that's, you know, something that I've talked about before, how I've been having a little bit of a hard time right now. But I'm on the mend, I'm on the up and up, and so I really wanted to do a monthly wrap-up video this month, and so that's what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Also, check out all the stickers I have on my laptop. They're so cute, I love them. Should I talk about the Kyoshi books? Because I started the month with one and then I ended the month with one, so should I just talk about both of them at the same time? You know what, yeah, I'm just gonna talk about both of them. So the first book I read this month was The Rise of Kyoshi, and the last book I read this month was Shadow of Kyoshi. I fucking love the Kyoshi novels. We stan Avatar Kyoshi hardcore, and I adore. This really solidified my love for Kyoshi. Oh my god. I gave the first one 5 stars and I gave the second one 4 stars. I did like the first one a little bit more. The first one is more about Kyoshi figuring out that she's the Avatar, because it took a while for them to find her, and actually they thought that someone else was the Avatar beforehand. And so the first one is more about her getting to be known and discovering that she's the Avatar, while the second one is more about her being the Avatar and having to deal with the repercussions of the first book. And they're both great, and she's got a wonderful girlfriend, and I just Avatar Kyoshi said bi rights, but she also said dumb bi rights. I love her. The thing that I like the most about the Kyoshi novels is it kind of like solidifies the theme of both Avatar and Korra, in that no matter what the Avatar does, there's consequences. So like you can, a big part of something that Kyoshi has to face is she has to face the consequences of Avatar Coeur, who is the Avatar before her. And the second one talks more about the issues that he had to face. Towards the end, there were like hints at things for the Fire Lord that is in power at the time of Kyoshi that sets up kind of like the rise to Ozai and Sozin and all of them, which naturally is going to be a consequence for Roku, and then Roku's inability to take out Sozin naturally is Aang's consequence, and the 100 Years War, that's what Aang has to do. And then of course Aang's inability to take Ozai's life causes consequences for Korra, and it all kind of is solidified in this, and I love it. Also, I hardcore clowned on Avatar Coeur. I've been clowning on him for years because, like, idiot, how could you die at the age of 33, you fucking moron? Read Shadow of Kyoshi and you will be eating your words. And I am now on the Coeur Defense Squad, and I don't really hate any Avatar at all anymore, because like they all have good points and bad points. I will say though that Roku is my least favorite. Anyways, now that I'm done talking about Avatar, let's go ahead and get on. So I actually read Rise of Kyoshi for my Avatar readathon, and now these are the next couple of books that I also read during that readathon. So for waterbending, I read I Can Make This Promise by Christine Day. Dude, this book made me cry during work. I was listening to the audiobook during work, and I just started to sob because it taught it's a hard book. So this book is about a girl who, all she knows about her past is that her mother is Native and her father is white. And so she's Native, but she's not part of the reservation. She doesn't know anything really about her Native side. And one day her and her friends are in her attic and she finds a letter from someone who shares her name, and she wants to figure out who that is, and you find out more about her past because of it. It's really good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and the reason that I gave it 4 instead of 5, because it very easily could have been a 5-star read, is that one of her best friends is acting really weird throughout the entire book. Basically, it's just like they grow apart, and towards the beginning of the book, it felt like that was going to be more of a prominent part of the story, and really towards the middle of the book, it kind of like stopped being important, and so it felt like, why was this necessary? I really wish that that plot line had been a bit stronger. But other than that, the rest of the book is really strong. Read this if you want to learn more about the struggles that Native people kind of faced in like the 50s to 70s with children being taken from them. It's really tough. Up next is King and the Dragonflies by Kason Calendar, of which I gave 4 stars. This was my pick for Earth Kingdom. And I really like this book. So a couple of months ago, I read a book called The Whispers, which is about grief and a kid whose mother is missing, and he thinks that that these fairies have taken his mother, or can help get his mother back, and he happens to also be gay. And I didn't so much like that book. But that book is very similar to this book, but I much preferred this book. So this book is about a kid, and his brother has recently passed, but he thinks that his brother is a dragonfly, and it's really just him working through that grief, but at the same time he's going through a situation where his friend a person who was a friend recently came out as gay to him. His brother found out and said to stop hanging out with him, but that friend is now in danger. I really like this because there's talk not only about, you know, the grief, and the grief is very realistic, I feel, but there's also direct discussion on like the impact of your family not accepting your sexuality, and, you know, you wanting to hide your sexuality. I did enjoy the fact that there was a like upfront discussion on how being gay is especially, or like seen as especially bad for Black men, and I just really enjoyed that aspect of it. Now, naturally, I'm not Black, so I can't, you know, talk about how accurate the representation was, but the characters I all enjoyed, and I could see where they were coming from, you feel? So up next, we had the Fire Nation, and for that, I read We Set the Dark on Fire. So this is about an island. Now, there are 2 sides of this island. So there's the inner, like, wall of the island where like the rich people live. The upper class of these people have 2 wives. So there's a segunda and a primera, and they have different sides of, like, different responsibilities. So each husband has 2 wives. The segunda, who is more like the beautiful one, she bears children, she takes care of more like the intimate side. And then there's the primera, and she is more like the social business side. Like they're not supposed to be intimate at all. They're just, she's more like his business partner and supposed to represent this legend. The main character is a girl who is the top of her school for primeras, and she is actually here illegally. So she is from over the wall, which is like extremely poor, yada yada yada. and her parents snuck her over the wall. They got, you know, false papers and all that jazz, and she was chosen to go to this school, and now she is the top student, and she is about to marry the man who is most likely going to be the future president. But the night before her wedding, her school is attacked, and through the attack, the resistance fighters find her and let her know that her papers won't work, but they give her new ones, but in exchange she has to start to work with them. And then along with that, she also ends up falling for the Segunda, who used to be her enemy in class. And then the two of them become the wives of this man who's awful, and they end up falling in love. We love a sapphic romance. So I ended up giving this 3.5, 3.75, somewhere around there. I enjoyed it. I listened to the audiobook and I really did think that it was good. I liked both of the wives. You can see the real life influence of like people who cross over the border and then have to live in fear of that. Like, you can definitely see that. There were just some issues that I had with it. A large majority of the stuff that she ended up spying was just her conveniently overhearing things, and that seemed a bit weird. And then I kind of wish that the romance itself had started a bit sooner, because it does kind of like start later into the book. I did know that they were going to end up together though, so I did see the small hints and I was like looking for them, but I still wish that it had kind of like started to get heated up a little bit earlier on. That being said, I think that I'm going to enjoy the second one, because the second one is from the other wife's point of view, and I can't say more about what it is because it's very much spoilery for the last bit of this book, but I'm kind of excited, and so I'm probably going to be reading that pretty soon. And then we have the book that I read for airbending, and I read Other Words for Home. This is about a girl who is from Syria, and her and her mother, who is pregnant, moved to Cincinnati to live with her mother's brother to get out of Syria. And it talks about her, you know, it's about her growing into living in America and understanding what it means to be in America. This was really cute. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think that it was a little bit short, and I kind of wish that it was longer. There's a couple of things that are focused on, which is like, one specifically is her hijab, because at the beginning of the book she doesn't wear one, and then towards the middle of the book she starts to wear one. And it directly talks about like how people reacted to her before she started wearing it versus after. There's also talk about her cousin who was born and raised in America, and she's mixed, so she's half Syrian, half white, and she definitely leans more on the white side. She only knows how to speak like English, and she says some racist things that she doesn't understand why they're racist. I really enjoyed that part. There's also a focus on the main character's brother, who wants to help the people of Syria, and so he kind of like starts to go with the wrong types of crowds. Once again, my biggest problem was more like the book was very short. I feel like they weren't given enough attention. Up next, I read both volume 1 and 2 of the Avant-Gardes. This is a graphic novel series about a women's basketball team for a performing arts college. They just started a basketball league with like the kind of other performing art colleges, and one of the main characters is a girl who used to be on a basketball team, started to have negative mental health because of it, and then she transferred colleges, and now she's playing on this basketball team that is much more about teamwork than it is about winning. I gave both of them 3 stars. They were enjoyable. And I really liked the kind of like diversity in like body types and in sexualities, and like different types of characters. And yeah, there's not really much to say. I mean, it was okay. I read them all on Scribd, and they were fine. And the last book that we're going to talk about is You Should See Me in a Crown. First of all, 5 stars. Absolutely wonderful. I love this book. So this is the story of a main character. She is a senior and about to go to college, and she wants to go to her #1 choice college and become a doctor, but she also wants to play in the orchestra that they have there. And if she gets to be a part of the orchestra, she gets a guaranteed scholarship that will help pay for the rest of her college. And she ends up not getting a place on that orchestra. So she then has to find a way to pay for college, because without that, her grandparents will sell the home that she and her family have lived in for a long time to help pay for college. And so she decides to run for prom queen, because prom is a big deal at their school. And the winner of prom king and queen get a $10,000 scholarship. And this is enough for her to like get her through at least the first bit of college. But she ends up to start to fall for another prom queen candidate. Like I mentioned in my last book, it reminds me a lot of the musical The Prom, so if you enjoy that musical, I think you'll really enjoy this book. I did give it 5 stars, but I do want to say that this book has one of my least favorite tropes of all time, which is the trope of having a lie that is very easily like explainable, and just missing the opportunity to explain what is going on in a way that would hurt less people, but just ignoring it.
I explained that really badly. Basically, I hate when a character has the opportunity to explain their lie and cause the least amount of hurt, but decides to continue the lie anyway. Then it blows up in their face later on. This one is even more annoying, because she had nothing to lose in the moment, and explaining it would have been so easy, but nope.
The rest of it and the way that the book ended up just like made me ignore that. So in all actuality, this is probably more of like a 4.75, because that aspect of it did annoy me enough that I like complained about it, but everything else was great. And that is the end of my monthly wrap up. I don't really have any plans on books that I want to read, with the exception of I do want to actually finish I Kiss Kate. I started it and just haven't finished it. This was my most anticipated read of the year, so right now I'm trying to like let down my expectations, because if my expectations are here but the book is here, I'm gonna end up disappointed. So I'm trying to like get myself in a place where it's like, it's okay if it's not as good as you want it to be, yada yada yada. That's just how I live life. But other than that, I hope that you guys had a great time with me today. As always, there's a link down below to where you can find resources to various movements that are going around. Along with that, you can find resources to make sure you're registered to vote, how to like double check if you need an absentee ballot, along with more information about that. I'm also including some information about supporting the USPS system right now, which, by the way, buy stamps, because it's that's how they make their money, and that is the best way to support them right now. I bought these stamps. They're Year of the Rat. These ones are my favorite. I got these because I'm a Yuki fan. I got these for the anniversary of the 19th Amendment. I'm gonna use these more for when I send letters to my representatives. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!
They don't wanna talk, they don't wanna feel the voice in my head saying I don't think I'm. They don't wanna talk, they don't wanna feel the voice in my head saying I don't think I'm real, 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 I don't think I'm. I don't know where my head's been at.